Well, it's that time of year again, and it's something that, since I started getting into broadcasting at CSI, it's been a time that really is very dear to my heart. And that is the College of Staten Island men's basketball team is opening up tonight, 4:30 p.m. versus Salem State, and then they face host UMass Dartmouth at 6:30 p.m. on Sunday in the season opening tournament to start their 2014-2015 season. Now, they are coming off of a 28-3 record, a program best that ended in an ECAC championship. Now, last time we saw these Dolphins, not these Dolphins, but last time we saw the CSI men's basketball team on the court, Bluchie McGlure became the career scoring leader with 1,822 points for this program. Petosa got his 400th win, and they were celebrating an ECAC championship, and the Dolphin tank was erupting. Fast forward to today, tonight, where it all begins again. And we call this rebuilding. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that they're going to win 4 games, because unlike some teams, a rebuilding year for CSI usually means, hovering around 500. This is a program that gets in talent year after year. They have one of the best head coaches in Division III basketball, probably the best in Petosa. Gets the most out of his players, and it'll be interesting this year. Now, how good have they been the last 3 years? With the Tibbs and the Youngs and the Van Manens and the Bulgers and Bluchie and Myers last 2 years, 76-14 during that span, including, as I mentioned, 28-3 last year, 26-5 campaign, also remember 2 years ago, that led to the Sweet 16 in the 2011-2012 NCAA Division III tournament. Now, CSI only has 2 returnees coming with extensive playing experience, so it's going to be a little bit difficult. So here's who we got who we got coming in. Let me break this down for you. Sophomore, point guard, Frankie Schettino. I love this kid. This kid is going to be money for CSI for the next 3 years. He opened up with a very good rookie campaign, and he's going to be coming back. Will Fonseca is coming back, a junior power forward. It was a 20-minute player last year. He's going to get a lot of playing time this year. He's going to be the starting lineup. But outside of those guys, those 2, you got some question marks. But they do those 2 do form a very strong foundation as 2 of the CUNY Conference's top players at their position. So you got 2 right there that are key players, that are big players. Remember, Schettino was last season's Rookie of the Year. 9.4 points per game, 7.2 assists per game. Fonseca averaged 13.4 points per game, 6.1 rebounds. Thomas Delahanty, 6'8" sophomore. Played sparingly, but he showed promise last winter. He's a Monsignor Fowl product. He begins the season at center. Carey Rollick sat out last season with a breathing issue. He's 6'2", the junior guard out of Long Island. He knows the system, is back as a starter. You got other veterans. Muhammad Marie, my boy Chris Scott's buddy there, Mo. Vincent DeCunto. Kevin Swanberg. Then you got the newcomers coming in. Now, last year, remember, we were saying who's going to replace Tibbs? And it was Schettino. Well, who's going to replace these other guys? You got Eden Brakic, who is a 6'3" swingman from St. Louis. Tops this list. Petosa loves this kid. I've spoken to a few people in the the CSI Athletics, they like this kid. Again, Petoza loves his potential. He'll draw a starting assignment out of the gate. And there are a handful of freshmen vying for playing time, including a couple of locals, 6'4" forward Jason Kobovic from Tottenville. You got 5'10" point guard William Knight, Valley Stream, Long Island. 6'5" Kevin Murphy from Brooklyn. And guard Justin Ritter from Queens. Garrett Dowd, 6'4" junior out of Monsignor Farrell. And senior point guard Colin McCall out of Curtis joined the program. A couple of transfers there. And listen, anytime you can get a Curtis Warrior player, that's a good one. That's a good program. They do have coaching changes. Petoza begins his 25th season, yes. Jordan Young comes back, the former CSI standout. Returns to the bench as the lead assistant this year. Chris Peterson, Sal Picciolo, both coaches have departed the program. Those are two key losses on the coaching staff. Now, we can go over the long list of people that are missing for CSI. But for practical matters, the biggest loss that will affect this team was 3-year starting forward Javon Cox, who opted not to return for a senior year. So Javon Cox not coming back for a senior year. If you thought Cox is, we're going to have Shatino, Fonseca, Cox. No, as I mentioned, you have Shatino, Fonseca, no Javon Cox. Cox has opted not to return for a senior year of basketball. And it will not be easy replacing his 14 points, 8.7 rebounds per game. That's a huge loss. Also at the door, senior standouts Chadwick Myers, Van Manen, Bulger, Kevin King, Luis Valdez, and of course, Blucher McGlure, who's probably the most talented offensive player in school history. Now, both opponents this weekend, Salem State, UMass, Dartmouth, they have eyes on the NCAA tourney. They have eyes on the NCAA tournament. And CSI did not stop there, Coach Petoza, in an attempt to beef up that schedule. Ramapo, Montclair State are on the November schedule with Kane, FDU, Florham due later. Dolphins went 6-0 versus the New Jersey Athletic Conference last year. Don't know if they're going to be able to top that this year. The highlight, however, again, is the 13th annual Tournament of Heroes, December 28th and 29th, featuring William Patterson, Miss Carodia, and Penn State, Burhatis. Now, 16 games in the CUNY. Am I writing this team off? Am I writing CSI off as they're not a playoff team? No, not at all. They have talent. They have the coaches to get it done. CSI men's basketball team will be in the playoffs. 16 conference games. I'm going anywhere from 9-7 to 10-6. 10-6 being, I think, the most that they would go this year in the CUNY. 9-7, maybe 8-8, maybe. So, you know what? We're looking at, in the CUNY conference for CSI this year, in my opinion, anywhere from 8-8 to 10-6. Remember, York's coming back strong. Hunter's got a few players. Medgar Evers, they got two guys coming back, two big guys that they didn't have last year. Baruch's got TJ Tibbs on the bench as a coach. That's a great basketball mind. So the conference has gotten a little better while CSI, they've lost talent. I'm not saying they've got worse, because they do have a lot of talent on the team, but they've lost a lot of talent, a lot of key talent that have helped them go 76-14 the past 3 seasons. Now, the women, they're another issue. We'll get to that, and I think the women will be competitive also. But the men are going to be tough this year. It's not gone are the days, at least for now, of them going 16-0, 15-1, 14-2 in the conference. That's not happening. As much as I love it to happen, you got to be realistic. They've lost a lot, and I think, listen, If you ask a CSI player, of course, they want to win every game. But I think realistically they know, listen, we're going to be good this year. And they will be good. But you have to figure that you've lost so much talent. Blucci, Dylan, Kevin, Chadwick Myers. Javon Cox is not coming back for his senior year. They were banking on him. When the season ended last year, I was talking with Shane Blackburn, and we were like, well, you got three key pieces right there in Fonseca, Cox, and Schettino. Well, Cox didn't come back. So, you got to be realistic here. They'll be good, but not as good as they've been the past couple of years. They will struggle. You will see them struggle at times. And Petosa has a lot of good teams on the schedule. You'll see them struggle. But I have no doubt in my mind that they can go anywhere from 8-8 to 10-6 in the conference. And they'll make the playoffs. And who knows? Once you get in the CUNY Conference playoffs, it's anyone's ball game. We've seen teams go on Cinderella runs. And CSI they have players on that team that have had experience of being in that position. So who knows? Who knows? But it'll be a very fun season this year in Willowbrook to see CSI. And obviously, listen, I'll be back for my 5th season calling it. 3.5 seasons with the WSIA. Came on in the second half with Sportsnet last year, and I begin my first full season with Sportsnet this year. I love coach. I love calling these games. I love calling CSI basketball. It's amazing. I feel like I've kind of, formed something that, hey, you know what? These, like, when they lose, when CSI loses, I'm pissed off. And if you listen to the broadcast, you can sense it in me. You can especially listen. If CSI loses a game, you can turn it on with 2 minutes left, not know the score. You could tell by me and Mike Babuski's voice on Sportsnet that they're losing. You could tell. You could tell. Because you know what? We're so passionate about this team, man. Honestly, to me, I'm not going to lie, it's been a real big part of my life for the past 4 seasons. I'll never forget traveling up to the NCAA tournament to call these games for these guys. And I've gotten a following. People say, hey, you know what? I've listened to you call the CSI games. And it's great that I've had people follow me from WSAA and follow me to Sportsnet to listen to these games. I mean, listen, I don't mean to take listeners away from WSA. They do a good job. They have a lot of good talent there. But I'm honored that people that made the switch from SAA to Sportsnet when I switched over. That means a lot to me. Just like this team means a lot to me. I'm very passionate about this. I'm going to be passionate again this year. I think we get the pieces to be competitive, be a playoff team, but don't get your hope. Don't be expecting 28. Let's put it this way. Don't be expecting 28-3 and 26-5 this year from CSI. But they will be a fun team to watch. Listen, Fonseca's a stud. I love Fonseca. The only thing about Will is he's got to know there is a certain time to shake, rattle, and roll and be Showtime Will Fonseca, and there's a time where you have to just play textbook basketball. But listen, Will knows that. Will's one hell of a player. Will is one of my favorite. Going into this season, Fonseca is probably my favorite player. Going into the season, Fonseca is probably my favorite player. Schettino's a close second. Let's see it. Again, anywhere from 8-8, 10-6. Listen, you know what? If the guys see this video and this gets pumped up that, listen, the voice of CSI is having us go 500 in the conference, hey, you know what? Maybe we'll pump them up. But you know what? I'm just being realistic. They've lost a lot of talent. They got talent, but not enough for a 14-2 season in CUNY like they have the past couple of years.